Use of energy and fuels. How do we use energy in our daily lives? What are fuels? What is a fuel? Can all combustible materials be used as fuels? Combustion process. What happens when we burn anything? What is combustion? What is the scientific definition of combustion? What are the products formed in a combustion reaction? What are the necessary components for a combustion reaction? Combustible versus non-combustible substances. How are substances categorized based on their ability to burn? What are combustible substances? Can you name some examples of combustible substances? What are non-combustible substances? Can you name some examples of non-combustible substances? Great! Here is the next set of only questions. Continuing from the previous numbering. Types of combustion. What is rapid combustion? What is spontaneous combustion? What is explosion? What are the three types of combustion? Ignition temperature. What is ignition temperature? What happens if the temperature of a substance is lower than its ignition temperature? Why do substances not catch fire below their ignition temperature? Why is ignition temperature important in combustion? What happens if the ignition temperature of a substance is very low? Why do petrol vapors catch fire easily? Why is it difficult to burn a piece of wood directly? Flame and its zones. What is a flame? What are the three zones of a candle flame? Which part of the flame is the hottest? Which zone of the flame is moderately hot? Which part of the flame is least hot? Why is the innermost zone of a flame black? Which part of the flame is the brightest? Fuel efficiency and calorific value. What is meant by the efficiency of a fuel? What is calorific value? How is the calorific value of a fuel measured? What is the unit of calorific value? Which fuel has the highest calorific value? Why is hydrogen not used as a domestic fuel despite its high calorific value? Ideal fuel and fuel selection. What is an ideal fuel? What are the characteristics of an ideal fuel? Is there any fuel that is considered ideal? How do we choose a fuel for a particular purpose? Why is LPG preferred over wood for cooking? Harmful effects of burning fuels. What are the harmful effects of burning fuels? How does incomplete combustion cause harm? What is carbon monoxide? Why is carbon monoxide dangerous? How does burning of coal and diesel cause air pollution? How does burning fuels contribute to acid rain? What are the effects of acid rain? Group Shunya, global warming and greenhouse effect. What is global warming? How does burning of fuels contribute to global warming? What is the greenhouse effect? How is the greenhouse effect related to global warming? What are the consequences of global warming? How can we reduce global warming? Fire control and safety. What are the three essential requirements for producing fire? How can fire be controlled or extinguished? Why is water not suitable for extinguishing fires involving electrical equipment? What type of fire extinguisher is used for electrical fires? What is the role of carbon dioxide in extinguishing fire? Why is carbon dioxide an effective fire extinguisher? Types of combustion. What are the different types of combustion? What is rapid combustion? What is spontaneous combustion? What is explosion? Can you give examples of substances that undergo spontaneous combustion? What are the differences between rapid and spontaneous combustion? Structure of a flame. What is a flame? Why do some substances produce flame while burning and others do not? What are the different zones of a flame? Which part of the flame is the hottest? Which zone of the flame is the least hot? What is the color of the innermost zone of the flame? What happens in the middle zone of a flame? What is the color and temperature of the outermost zone of the flame? Flame observation and lab activity. How do we observe the structure of a candle flame? What happens when a glass slide is held above a flame? What do the deposits on the glass slide indicate? How can we prove that burning produces heat and light? What is the significance of blue flame in a gas stove?